Welcome to the McArthur Live, episode 115. I'm your host, Tim Bart. I'm with
co-host Sarah Davis.
welcome. Make sure you get that mic up. Last week it was a little close. So we got our mic. We had some issues last week.
Yes.
But we're back. So for those who didn't know, so StreamYard's had some StreamYard, which is what we use.
It wasn't us.
It was them.
StreamYard.
So we had some issues, and where the audio is just terrible because we were not able to choose our audio source. It was using that camera, so a lot of echo and not close. Anyway, it's fixed now. So they said it wouldn't happen again.
Yeah.
I said, well, that didn't fix my live stream because it happened to be the night they were having issues. Anyway, So we are back. So better quality tonight. So those of you who did watch last week or listen to the podcast, thank you very much for sticking through that. We appreciate it very much. Pretty good content, but it's difficult to listen and listen to a podcast or watch a live stream with bad audio quality. But we're back. So speaking of that, you can watch or listen to this on podcast platforms, several different ones out there, and so I will always link that podcast in the description of this video and vice versa on podcast. So if you see the podcast and say, hey, I want to see the images, because we do have some images tonight, because we have a big topic tonight that I've actually covered multiple times. But as some of you are new to getting a vehicle, you may not have seen information on that, or maybe you just it's buried. It's a year ago. I need to see it again. We're going to cover it in this video today and talk about those private offers, price protection, especially kind of a refresh too, because some dealers are saying that's not available. So anyway, if you want to see those in the description of the podcast, you can see the link to the YouTube video as well if you want to watch that. And don't forget, there's going to be, after this goes live, probably sometime tonight or in the morning, you're going to see the timestamps for that. So on the video form, if you want to get to that, actually we'll have it say price protection if you want to do that. So we'll might even break it out in his own video just to make it easier for people to find. So there we go. Don't forget, if you have any questions there at Sarah Davis.
Yes, please.
She's over here manning the chat. So if you see a lot of times where she's not talking much, it's because she's chatting with the people in the chat. So if you're not watching it,
we get chatty.
Pull that chat up and you can see along, because I actually keep it to where it's saved, and the chat is always going to be there. I don't edit the live stream any, which allows you to be able to see those comments and the chat as the live stream's going. So definitely pull those up. Don't have my little screen today, so you can see our janitor walking around back there. Can't wait till we get our mural up here for you guys to cover that up. But there we go. Anyway, so all right, what else we got to talk about? So see, usually sometimes we talk about what happened this weekend, but
yeah,
I don't even remember.
Will's birthday.
Yes, Will's birthday was Saturday.
We did a hotel stay.
Yep.
That was eventful. Couldn't get checked in, and then we got checked in, and then we went swimming, and my hair turned green. Phone got fixed. Will's birthday party.
Yeah, Sarah was without a phone for a while.
I was without my phone for a whole week. It was interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. Now I leave it alone half the time anymore. Like today I was making all my calls, and I was making with the other phone, and instead of my cell phone, because I was like, man, I do have my cell phone. I need to start leaving that as my callback number again.
Yeah.
Because you got my doctor's message.
Yep. Having some issues. We got things planned out for our hotel and everything. So we had be careful what different travel sites you use when you're booking your hotels and such.
It's best that you just go straight through.
See if you can go straight through. Our hotels.com is pretty good, but we used one that had the cheapest rates out there, and it was Don't stay away from, what was it, Travel Euro or whatever. Travel Euro. Do not even tempt it. So
found out through Reddit
they didn't actually book our hotel.
Half the time it's a scam. Half the time it's okay.
So we're supposed to stay in a hotel in Vegas. Plus, we had to change that around too. So we're going to be our travel plans are a little different. We're actually not going to go to SEMA until the first. So we're going to fly out on the first, and then hit first, second, and then fly back on the third. But anyway, yeah. So that site we found out didn't book our hotel. So
Yes.
I'll work with my credit card company to get my money back, but we'll figure that out. Anyway, but got it all figured out for this week and next week. So I get to go to Vegas 2 weeks in a row and not really see probably much of Vegas because it'll be constant.
Lebo's going with
sessions.
us though.
Yeah.
So
we got to see. Well, when on my trip, I'm probably not gonna see much of Vegas.
Yeah.
But yeah, your trip. So all right. Anyway, enough of that. All right, so we jump in. Don't forget to we'll go over the member information there, Sarah.
Which information? Oh, member information.
If they want to be a member, we have membership available, don't we?
We do have a membership available. Sorry, if you'd like to become a member, it's on that join button right there. It is $4.99 a month, and it does list all the perks that you get under that tab. Now, if you are an iPhone user, you have to do things a little bit differently. You have to go to your web browser, click the big A and the little A, and request desktop browser. At that point, you'll be able to see it.
And you can find all of our member content under the membership tab on our channel. You also should get notifications of all those. A couple videos a week, at least. Plus, when we're traveling and such, we'll try to do videos too. I'll try to put a koozie on this can without spilling it. That's always a challenge for me. But yeah, we do a member live on Friday afternoons at 4. We'll see how things go this week. Sarah will be here, but I will not. So it might be Sarah hosting.
We have fun with those.
Yeah.
It's less talking about what's coming up in the week and more let's review orders and quiz Sarah on her knowledge.
So
Who
anyway,
can stump Sarah?
So we do a member live, and that's always fun. And then Saturday I do a lot walk. In fact, I have a video that I recorded this last Saturday that I'm going to post as a live video sometime this week. Who knows when you'll find it, and where you for those that aren't subscribers to the channel or aren't members of the channel, I should say, are going to get a chance to see what that looks like and whether or not that's content you'd like to see. And then we do other stuff like I'll be, if you're a member this week, travels to Bronco off-roading. We'll talk more about that in a second. You'll get some extra clips of that, and throughout the day, I'll just send those out. Our trips to Vegas, what all we saw, that kind of stuff, behind the scenes kind of stuff. So if you like, you want to know more about Sarah or myself, our travels, you might like it. You might like to be a member, and it's only $5. So it does help support the channel some. Yeah. So we appreciate that. All right. Okay. What else? Oh, our merch. We do have merch on a merch site. The link is down. Should be in the description of this video. And there's actually 25% going on starting today through the 26th.
Yes.
So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday sale, 25% off of anything on there. So, and I added recently some shirts with coin phrase that we use at the end. I don't know if you guys don't like them, don't need to get them, but we might tweak that in the future. But
if you give me access to that, I can make us some logos and make us some designs and really have fun with it. But I need access to it.
Yeah. We'll need to do that. So, or if you can, all you need to do is if you create it, then I can upload it.
Okay.
So, but anyway, so you can find that if you want it. So there you go. And really, I set up the merch site more for myself than members, than anybody else, so that I can get my own merch. Anyway, and let's see what else. Recently videos, we did finish off the 24 Super Duty Complete Guide videos. We did all those, all different trim levels. We're working on the 24 Escape this week. The Active went live yesterday. We're doing the ST line, and there's 3 different trim levels for ST line. We're throwing them into one video, so that'll go live tomorrow. And then the Platinum and the plug-in will be the other 2 days, Thursday, Friday. So there you go. All right. Looky there. Just got some. Can I see that?
Yeah.
You want to throw those up there?
Yeah, I can.
All right.
We got a donation from Mike Mahaffey.
Have fun.
Have fun in Vegas. See the sphere.
Yep. Last time I was in Vegas at the dealer meeting, we actually stayed at the Palazzo, and I could see the Spirit every night. It was really cool. That's really cool. And I wanted to go inside. I don't know if we'll have time or not, but they do a really cool thing inside. So, and then All Train Nation's here.
Yeah.
I missed his live stream last night live, but I did watch it about 10 o'clock last night and go through. And so always good content from them. And thank you very much. Drink Fund. So
if only we could buy merch with the Ford Pass points.
I need a Ford Video Guy Pass Fund. Anyway. So all right. Let's see. Anything else?
Niles is here. He's in the truck right now, so he probably won't be in the chat much. Niles, if I see a question for you, I'll tag it. And then
if he hears his name.
Yes. So I'll just say Niles, check in.
Hey, Niles, we'll just ask the question.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, a bunch of Mavericks showing up. So let's see. We had 25 show up in like last week.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think since then we've had all I know is we got 31 Mavericks right now that need to be booked.
So we had 14 before I left today because there was another stack that you took off my desk. But when I gave you a stack, there were 14 Mavericks in that stack.
So then we had another 4 and another 5.
So another 9. So we had
another 25 or so.
Another 25.
So we got about 4 dozen Mavericks out here, and hopefully get those all booked and have a great Maverick month here. But yeah, that's crazy. So a lot of Mavericks showing up, a lot of XLT hybrids. So these are some of the ones that got scheduled late when. So what Ford usually will do is they plan for contingency loss. So they plan that, hey, in a production year, this is what 100% of a production looks like, but they only give allocations for about 75% of their yearly allocations or yearly production because they're counting on a possibility of a plant being down for a week or two, something else, supply issues. So they only plan for about 75 of their production. And so they consider 25% contingency loss. Well, for the Maverick, they didn't have any in 23 model year. In fact, added a third shift. So they were able to get a lot of those 23 scheduled in that a little extra. And so we got some extra allocations to cover some of our customers. In fact, we have some that are like expecting their 24 to show up instead for 23 because their salesperson didn't say, oh, it was your 23 that got scheduled, not your 24. But that 23, I think, is actually a better deal. For one, it's cheaper, right? For two, there's some things that were taken away from the Maverick for 24 model year that was standard in 23, like the keypad entry, which is a big deal to a lot of people. So that's something else to remember there. So there you go. All right. So yeah, we got Johnny here too. So, and thank you, All Train Nation. I do forget it. Don't forget to smash that like button. I appreciate it. So it's always a good reminder. But all right. What else? Do you have a good dealer moment? Are you ready for that? And don't forget about the channels we support. So talking about the All Train Nation, link to their YouTube channels in the description. Johnny's Car Care Reviews, he's in here as well. And he needs a little boost. He's got a baby on the way. And then we also have, of course, the Bronco Nation YouTube channel. We'll probably see them next week. Probably at SEMA at some point. Try to connect with at least, I know Jordan will be there. And then
Laura's supposed to be there too.
Yeah. Ragnar Khan, one of our members, he has a YouTube channel, just dropped a video. I think was that this morning. I don't know. I need to see it though. I haven't watched it yet on towing.
He was in here at 6:30. Now he's gone. So
anyway, yes, he has a YouTube channel as well as another one of our members that usually can't watch Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
The Maverick Hunter. So check him out. He's a hunter and has a Maverick. He's got a YouTube channel. He posts some videos once in a while. So check his out. And then Second Nature Overland. That has actually some of the video footage that I have is things that he's taken. So I do give him a shout out too. He has some pretty cool channels. So, and there's a bunch of others. There's so many good. Most of the ones that follow are Bronco, but there's some good ones out there. So, All right. Okay. Enough of that. Let's get in. Do you have a good dealer moment, or should I move into scheduling and then
go into scheduling
and then we're going to do things in reverse order. In fact, one of our sections we're not even going to do tonight because there aren't any. There's no recalls. No recall updates. There are some recall updates, but they're for like on the Fusion from like 2000, like 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
So
Recalls. Maybe you might want to look at that. Anyway, so there's some older ones I recall on a 2012 that I didn't include, and they were just actually updates to recalls. They weren't new recalls; they're just updates to them. So you would have gotten a notification anyway. I probably took care of that one. Anyway, so let's get into the scheduling information first, and then we'll get into the good dealer moment, and then move on from there. So I got to move down to this. There you go. All righty. So we're going to talk about scheduling information, and I actually haven't looked at these sheets. I printed them off last night and didn't get a chance to look at them yet. Yeah, there we go. I might even need to throw my glasses on. So let's first go into this little shot right here real quick, just to kind of briefly go over this. I do this every week because some of you that follow each week are like, okay, Tim, I'll just come back in 10 seconds or 2 minutes when you're done with this. But let's try to run through this quickly. Don't forget, what we're talking about when it comes to the scheduling information is that if you have an order in the order bank, which is what the top one is that's where dealers place your stock in retail orders. And a retail order is that customer placed order, whereas a stock order is one for dealer inventory. You place that vehicle, that order in there, it needs to get scheduled. And that's what we're talking about here is they're getting, we're going to talk about whether or not, what's scheduling, what models are scheduling for build dates in the future. So we're talking about, and then priority codes are given to each order that's put in there. So right now there's an 03 to 19 for retail orders and 20 to 80 for stock orders. Lower the better. It's kind of like golf score. So you want a lower number. So that's why retail orders are always looked at before a stock order, as long as the configuration is correct of what they're looking for. Scheduling, and this is where Ford schedules an order for a production date in the future. So we'll talk about what dates they're scheduling for, and that's where that next line, production date, is. They're getting scheduled for the week or to the day and such, and how that all works. Allocations, Ford gives dealers allocations to schedule their orders. So you can't get an order scheduled without an allocation, and a dealer needs those and then also earns those from their sales for each month or some sort of mix. Like right now, the Maverick isn't based on 100% on sales Mavericks, on the sale of Mavericks, but also the sale of other vehicles too in their mix. Constraints, we'll talk about that. We'll mention those constraints. Those are options that are in short supply or may take longer to build. Capacity is what percentage of their production could be devoted to a certain motor, a certain trim, maybe even a certain option, based on supply or based on how long it takes to build that. Job 1 and Job 2, a production year, model year, is split into 2 production runs, Job 1 and Job 2. And right now on 24 model year, we're working on Job 1. Although Mustang is about ready to flip over to Job 2. Balance out, that is where they're basically their end of production for a certain option or a model or something like that. So right now we don't see a lot of balance out because we're just starting 24, but sometimes you might see that when you're finishing out at the 23 model year, that kind of thing. So there we go. All right, let's get into the 24 Mustang right now. So speaking of the different Job 1 and Job 2s, so 24 model year Job 1, the first half of production is balancing out. They're balancing out scheduling this week. So they're trying to finish out Job 1 before moving to Job 2. So sometimes when you see a Job 2, especially this early, because we know Mustang was supposed to be an 18-month production. And I guess maybe we are 9 months in. Well, not quite. May, June, July. Anyway, so I feel like it's still a little early for halfway through the production year, because usually the rest, they're going through the complete end of 24 calendar year for production. So so they're going to start Job 2 probably in January. Actually, looks like maybe February, because production weeks they're going to be scheduling for is December 4th through January 15th. So again, they're doing a longer scheduling because they're going to try to finish out the balance out or Job 1. All right, now don't forget, retail only restrictions are on the Night Pony package and the GT Performance package. So those are only going to be scheduled for a retail order. So if dealers won't be able to get an order scheduled with the Night Pony package or the GT Performance package. So something to keep in mind. If you see one out there, like we have a couple with the GT Performance package on a lot, that's because a customer didn't take theirs when it came in. It was a retail order, legitimate. When it came in, they didn't buy it for whatever reason. So, all right. Order banks are open up for the 24 model year Mustang as well. So you can do that. Some people might want to know how many orders. So I didn't do that yet. So I have that here. So currently there's 1,036 unscheduled retail orders. That's not counting any stocks. So, yeah, and about half of them are GT Performance package, excluding Dark Horse. Dark Horse isn't figured into that number. So there you go. Okay. Now, next vehicle is the 24 model year Escape. It does say cleanup scheduling, so they are trying to fill the holes. When they say cleanup scheduling, that means any dealer that maybe has a leftover allocation that couldn't be fulfilled yet because of the configuration that the orders they have. So, like, let's say we had one order left with one allocation, but they can't schedule that one because of the configuration of it. Then it keeps getting moved. And then they try to let us know, hey, if you change this or change that, then you can get it scheduled. So basically meaning if there's a dealer with an allocation left, they're trying to fulfill the allocations for that dealer. They are scheduled for production weeks December 4th through December 25th. And the order banks are open up for the 24 model year right now. 24 model year Bronco Sport. They are scheduling as well, cleanup scheduling, again, for a dealer that has an allocation like we don't have any. We had ours fulfilled already, so wouldn't get scheduled. But if a dealer has an allocation and there's a retail order in there, then they could get scheduled. They're scheduling for weeks, production weeks, and the weeks of 12/4 through 12/25. Limited availability on the Outer Banks. And we, as we know in the past, we've seen this happen. Doesn't mean they won't schedule any Outer Banks. It's just they're going to schedule a limited number of them. So also they're saying exhausted availability. Again, with exhausted and limited availability, that's in here, but we've seen a lot of orders that were under that list that would qualify for an exhausted availability and still get scheduled. So, and I think some of that has to do with if the dealer has an allocation and there's no other orders to choose from, then they want to choose that order. So that's where we will see that happen, I think. And that's probably what's kind of tend to happen on those, because they want to fulfill that dealer's allocation. So if that dealer has like, one or two allocations and they only have a couple orders and it happens to be something that's exhausted, they'll try to pick that one because they want to fulfill that allocation and not carry that over to the next month. And the exhaust availability options are the convenience package, optional on the big band and the freewheeling, as well as the front and rear splash guards. So, and like if you have an order out there, have the splash guards, take them off. That will help your chance of getting scheduled. Order banks are open up for the 24 model year Bronco Sport as well. Oh, we were going to go through how many going back. Escape, 24 Escape. I keep forgetting this. There's only 605 unscheduled retail orders. And on the Bronco Sport, there's only 202 unscheduled Bronco Sport orders. So 100. So now we can actually easy math here since there's only 200. It is saying 51% of those have a fit moonroof and the Copilot 360 Assist Plus package, which means 100 orders. So there's no reason why they couldn't get scheduled. And then 78%, they call it two-tone. That's your black painted roof. So that's a high number. So we know Outer Banks and Badlands, they get the black painted roof as standard equipment. So that means 78% of the orders in there are probably like 150 orders are going to be one of those two. So not a lot of big bends in there. So there you go. Anything else? 16% of them are freewheeling, which isn't that many. What's that? 32, if I do my math right. And Badlands only 32. So there you go. All right. Moving on. 24 model year Edge is not scheduling this week, and there's no constraints listed. And we're going to talk about the order banks because they are closing soon. So you'll want to make sure you get that order in if you want. Last year for 24 or for the Edge completely. So if you person that wants an Edge out there, you make sure you get that order in. There's 712 unscheduled retail orders for the Edge. Move this mach-e because I know they always have it in weird order. All right. 24 model year Ranger. not scheduling. I think we know why. The plant is on strike right now, so they're not producing any vehicles. Retail order banks are open up for the 24 Ranger. These are kind of out of order. All right, how many orders? There's 3,432 unscheduled Ranger orders in there. It's going up because they're not producing any vehicles. So we'll see how long, and once they get everything going back again, how long it takes them to get that all produced. I don't even know what that plant can produce in Rangers each month, but there you go. 23 model year Bronco is not scheduling. Still haven't kicked over to 24. It was supposed to be January, beginning of January, I think, when 24 model year Bronco was going to start producing. But at this point, the plant is on strike as well. Ranger, Bronco, both built in the same place. So nothing's getting scheduled. Nothing's getting built right now. I'm sure there's several 23 model year already scheduled orders, and the question is going to be, are they going to get canceled? Are those going to be canceled VINs that we need to reorder for 24? We don't know. So anyway, there is currently 9,151 unscheduled orders in the order bank, and this does not give us a year on this sheet. So it could be both 23 and 24 model year. I don't know. Once that flips over, then we'll have a better idea of that. No major constraints other than Heritage Edition, of course. So Bronco's in pretty good. I mean, once the plant gets back and up and running, it's really in pretty good shape for almost every model and every trim level, with the exception of that Heritage Edition, which is great. 24 model year Maverick. Cleanup scheduling, just like Bronco Sport, same plant. They are scheduling production weeks December 4th through December 25th. Limited availability on the splash guards, and the transmission for the hybrid. The hybrid transmission is on there too. But I'm still going to schedule some hybrids. You'll see. Anyway, so Maverick, how many unscheduled orders? Because we know what last week it was 35,000. It's about the same. So they didn't schedule too many last week. So there's 35,640 unscheduled Maverick orders in the order bank. Almost half of those are XL trim, because as they schedule more, that number is gonna go up, isn't it? Because it makes sense. Because again, we're looking at what percentage of the unscheduled orders are in there. So 40%, 47% of the 35,000 orders are XL. But again, they can produce more than, their capacity is 23% for the model year. So 23% of, let's say, 100,000, 120,000, they're building about 10,000 a month. That's still a lot of XLs. There's no reason why all the XLs won't get scheduled, but probably those, if you have an XL out there, probably will take longer to get scheduled. Just so you know that. But yeah, if you do have an XL, that's definitely one you don't want to tempt fate with. You don't want to have that, the hitch is probably okay, but you definitely don't want to have, if it's a factory installed option, leave it on your order, but definitely get rid of any of those accessories, any of the things that the dealer would install, any of the things you can get through Ford Accessories. Get rid of those off your orders. Don't tempt and test anything there. If you got an XL, you're going to have a hard enough time getting it scheduled, let alone trying to make Ford put the protective film on there and the splash guards and your heart and your tonneau covers. Take it all off your orders if you really want to get your order. If you want to say Ford has to make it and you want to prove a point, go ahead and leave it on there. But if you really want your truck, take it off. All right. 24 model year Explorer is not scheduling. Again, that plant is on strike as well. So you definitely don't want to, you're not going to get anything scheduled this week. Order banks are open up. Oh, by the way, I forgot, 24 model year Maverick order banks are open up, as well as 24 model year Bronco, and the 24 model year Explorer is now open up. A couple notes on that. Hybrid is not available for 24 model year. You cannot get a limited or platinum hybrid for 24 model year. And there will not be a 25 model year Timberline or King Ranch or base. So if you're wanting one of those three trims, you get a 24, unless you're wanting to wait for that new body style, and you're okay not getting those. There you go. And then there are currently 249 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank for the Explorer. And again, it doesn't have the year, so that might be for both 23 and 24. If my brand manager for the Maverick wants to call me and let me know on that list, if that unscheduled orders, if that's for both years, I'd be really curious to know. He's the one that usually will give me feedback. 24 model year Expedition is not scheduling. Again, that plant is also on strike, so they're not going to be scheduling anything. Retail order banks are open up for the 24 model year Expedition. Don't forget that Platinum will require the 22-inch optional wheel, as well as the removal of the multi-contoured seat option 88R added to it to get scheduled once they are back up and running. There's currently 1,133 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. There you go. And there's also currently about 46% of those orders that have the standard wheel for the Platinum. Remember, I had said that you need to add the optional wheel. There's a lot of dealers that aren't in the know. They're not paying attention. So if you have an Expedition Platinum order in, and you know you have the standard wheel and haven't added the optional wheel, go to your dealer, because evidently they're not coming and telling you, because you need to change that if you want to get scheduled. All right, moving on. 24 model year Super Duty is not scheduling. Again, the Kentucky truck plant is down, or they're on strike right now, so they're not producing vehicles. Order banks are open up for 24 model year, and there's currently 24,225 unscheduled retail orders on the Super Duty. So yeah, that's not helping that they're on strike when they already have quite a few there. And at some point, the Maverick might catch up with the Super Duty, which is kind of crazy to think. The big thing there to note is King Ranch Platinum Limited are the ones that are going to be the most constrained. If you can live with the Lariat, that'd be the way to go. I'd switch over to Lariat if you can. I know some of you don't want to, and that's fine. Just know that it's going to take longer to get scheduled, as well as a high output diesel engine. 59% of those 24,000 orders happen to have the 6.7 high output diesel engine. Their capacity is 10%. So I would, look to switch. It looks like some did switch over to the other engine, the 6.7 liter, because that is now closer to the capacity. So there you go. All right. 24 model year F-150. So we are scheduling 24 model year now. 23 is over. It's been balanced out. 24 model year order banks are open up for F-150. They are scheduling for the week of January 22nd. And this does say in here, there will be no scheduling of Raptor 37 and Raptor R this week. Only scheduling Raptor base. So there you go. And again, like I said, order banks are open up for that. For F-150, there's currently 4,314 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. We don't have a lot of F-150 orders in there. And that's not counting Lightning or Raptor in that number. So, all right. 24 model year F-150 Lightning. They don't actually have any kind of constraint list on that. I have no idea how many unscheduled retail orders are in the order bank for that. They are scheduled for the same weeks, January 22nd. 23 is over and balance out. And the order banks are open up for that. So if you want to order a Lightning, then you can. There you go. I've done some videos on those, and we're taking orders. Don't forget our big, I believe it's a great deal. $1,000 off of or below MSRP on Pro, $2,000 below MSRP on XLT and Flash, and $3,000 below MSRP on Lariat, and $4,000 below MSRP on Platinum. That's not counting your rebates. So if there are rebates available in 24, we would take that off too. So when that vehicle comes in, if there's rebates around, you'll get those on top of those. That is not, that is not including any incentives. 24 model year mach-e is not scheduling this week, and order banks are opening up soon. 23 model year order banks are open up. Actually, it lists 24 model year mach-e, not 23. So it looks like they might be moving on to 24, but the order banks aren't open up yet. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be opening up November 2nd. So that's coming up. And they put that in here. So anyway. And they are actually says 24 model year mach-e job too, which is funny. There's only 43 unscheduled 23 model year retail orders in the order bank for mach-e. So not that many. So I think that that's a typo. I think that's supposed to be 23, but All right. All right. And lastly, the 24 model year Transit. They are scheduled for the 24 model year now. There's currently 5,921 unscheduled Transit orders in the order bank. And that does say 24 model year on that. Let's see. They are scheduling for production weeks of December 18th, which is the launch. That's the first week of production for Transit. And so limited availability, a lot of these are carrying over from 23 model year. So it hasn't changed with the new model year. Supply hasn't helped at all and hasn't gotten better. So limited availability for the 3.5 EcoBoost engine, that's 99G, the high roof jumbo bus, the high roof long bus, the low roof crew van and bus, the medium roof crew van and bus, the high resolution camera, option 61E, the 360-degree camera for the ICE orders, option 61D, the AM/FM with a 4-inch multi-function display, which is 58U, and then the Transit Trail package as well, 47N. Those are limited availability. It mentions balance out here, and that wouldn't be correct. So I'm not going to mention that because we're just starting the model year. So they might have copy pasted from 23 model year and put that on there. 24 model year Transit order banks are open up right now. There you go. And that's it. Bada bing, bada boom. That's it. All right, Sarah, got any questions regarding scheduling for me that I can answer?
Oh, is the 24 Maverick getting pushed back 2 weeks for start of production?
They already started producing. We know the answer to that because we have several orders of our own customers that are built.
Yep.
They started on the 19th.
Yep.
So last Thursday, they started production for 24 model year.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are seeing customers saying, oh, my order was supposed to be built the first week and it got pushed back 2 weeks, well, that's their order, not everybody's order.
Yeah.
We actually had, I think, 7 or 8 of our orders that were scheduled to be built that week. And I looked them up. Several of them are. In fact, I can actually look it up a little bit here. It won't even take me that long. And see, because on Sunday, I went through those. Yeah, I get bored on Sunday nights and go through those. All right. Scheduled orders. So, yes. So, actually, I didn't go through them. But we had 8 that were scheduled to be built that week, last week, at the end of the week.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I do know for a fact that at least 1 or 2 of those are scheduled. Didn't you update? I remember we had one of our members was supposed to be built.
Yeah,
and
they actually got built. They were last I checked, they were back from the body shop.
Okay, can't remember who that was. Which one of this?
Here, I got it. Hardest.
Okay, that's right here. So his was supposed to be built on the 21st, and it's already
his moved to the 19th.
No, his got moved up to the 19th, so which is the first day of production. So,
yes.
So they are scheduled. So anyway, so we debunk that myth.
Yes, because there's a lot of that going around because people are seeing their schedule dates getting moved around. They get moved back or they get moved up. So they're thinking that 24 production is getting moved back because their schedule date moved back, and it's not. They just looked at what they had scheduled and look at what they have to build and go, okay, it looks like we can't build that at this point. Let's push it back 2 weeks and get these built.
Yep.
So they do a little maneuvering of the orders once they're scheduled to make sure that what they can build is available, or what they have available is what they can build.
Yes. So, all right. And when they finished out 23, they may have had to do some of that. So, and you're probably going to see some early 24s. So what they have to do when they first start building in the model year 2 is the first several off that line are going to be stock units. So if you do see some, in fact, we're going to get some. We've already been told we're going to be getting some stock orders because they want to, like, the first couple that roll off of there, they don't want them to be those retail sold customers. So some of those will be stock ones. So there are going to be some dealerships in stock. You're probably going to see them with blue window stickers. Don't freak out. That's typical. It happens about the launch of every year. Mustang, we had the first 5 we arrived were stock ones because they produce so many. And then they get into retail orders after that. So, but even having the first day being still some retail orders is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So they didn't do that many stock ones before they started building. I mean, that first day they were building retail orders. So that's pretty cool. So
yeah. All right.
Any other questions about that?
No, we don't have any more of scheduling questions.
Okay.
Want me to do the good dealer?
Are you ready for that?
Yes, I am.
Let me find this here.
All right. So today I have one from the Maverick Truck Club forum. It is Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. They ordered a Lariat trimmer from them, honored Z plan, and $500 price increase didn't even come up. So they paid MSRP minus that $500 price increase.
We're going to talk about later.
They paid out the door exactly what they had expected and even gave them a pretty decent trade-in on their Santa Cruz. No pressure on warranties or anything. MSRP was $32,695 and out the door was $33,244 after taxes and title.
Cool.
They gave some pretty pictures. They got an Atlas blue Maverick or trimmer.
Oh, okay.
I like the trimmer.
I do like the trimmer in Atlas blue. It has the orange on it. So if you're a Denver Broncos fan, you probably like that color scheme.
Okay, it's not the Denver Broncos. I actually like the orange with the blue. I think that's a really pretty combo.
It's just a joke because Denver Broncos is orange and blue.
So. Well, yeah, I know. That's why Derek's is orange and blue.
Yeah. Anyway.
Although his is a darker blue, and I prefer that with the orange.
Because you got a first year Bronco, so it was the antimatter blue.
Yes, because when the sun shines on it, it looks blue, and other times it looks black. Yep. And then he has orange accents. It's really pretty. All right, on we go.
Okay. All right, not a lot going on in the dealer news world here. There is something that was sent to dealers, and I actually didn't cover it last week, I think, and that is on the basically sunsetting is what they call it when they're ending a program. They call it sunsetting of the next gen EV certification program. So those dealers that were a certified EV dealer but didn't sign up to be a Model E dealer, they have there's some information about that. So December 31st, 2023, they're sunsetting the next gen EV certification program. And so, this is just kind of information about, well, what about if you had a customer, maybe you're not a Model E dealer going forward in January 1st. What about your customers that have orders? Can they not fulfill those orders? They still can. So it does. Here's kind of a Q&A in here. It says, what happens to EV retail orders that non-Model E dealers have submitted but not yet received once the next gen sunsets? Dealers that submitted a retail EV orders on or before December 31st will be able to deliver the vehicle to the customer who originally placed the order. So technically, if you have a customer that places a 24 model year F-150 Lightning order, because the order banks are open up, they could still deliver that 24 model year F-150 Lightning if they're not a Model E dealer. So basically, they have until that happens, even if it takes several months. It could be March, April before it comes in. Some of these are taking that long. That is a possibility. They still will be able to deliver those customers. So that's good to know there for them. Now, they also said, will non-Model E dealers be able to service EV units under warranty after next gen sunsets? No, non-Model E dealers will not be able to service EVs under warranty once the next gen sunsets. So you want to make sure if you're a Model E, if you're a customer that has an EV out there, find out what those Model E dealers are going to be so you know where to service your vehicle. That does say in here, though, only safety, compliance, and emission recalls can be done at a non-Model E dealer. With the proper training in place. So if there's a certain recall that's, they want to make sure, like a safety recall, an emissions recall, that those can still be done if your local dealer isn't a Model E dealer. So anyway, so there you go. Information about that right there. All right. Now let's talk about 24 model year Edge. The order banks are closing. So if you, this is the end of Edge. No longer are you living on the edge; it's going off the edge. Dad joke. Anyway, just October 27th is the last day you can order a 24 model year Edge, or any Edge. I don't know why you even saying 24. Any Edge. You have till November 3rd to do the COVP and have that filled out and sent into Ford. So October 27th. So if you're wanting an Edge, if you're like, hey, I can't believe that they're ending, you better get your orders in because you only have a couple days. Got till Friday night. So there you go.
Friday.
Yep. Okay.
Wait, this Friday?
Yep.
This
Friday.
This Friday.
All right. I'm going to leave this one to the end. All right. So I did find today or yesterday. Yeah. Yesterday there was an Ford sends out like notices to dealers. There's an EFC 13630. The reason I say the number is it's called the Bronco Off-Rodeo Registration Spin to Win incentive. So sometimes Ford will put out incentives for salespeople, basically to do their job. But sometimes I got to give them an extra push, because there's some guys that if they don't get paid to do it, they're not going to do it. So sometimes you got to like incentivize them a little bit. And that's what this is. Basically, they want more people to sign up and go to the Bronco Off-Rodeo, which, hey, we're going to that. I'm going to that this week. So to do that, though, they're incentivizing to help sign them up. So there's two ways a sales consultant can earn Bronco prizes. So you can earn swag as a Bronco specialist. And the way you can earn swag is effective with every Bronco Sport, and Bronco Raptor retail order dated October 1st through December 31st. A sales consultant are eligible to receive one spin to win a prize of Bronco swag. It's like backpacks, blankets, Bronco merch, basically. Most of the stuff I've already bought. Spend a piece of swag for every owner that creates a Bronco off-rodeo profile and submits their VIN for verification. Keep in mind, it does take a while once a dealership reports that VIN number. It takes a couple days for that to pop in and be to show that it's been reported. So what you're probably going to do as a sales consultant is show your customers where to go to sign up and create their profile, because they're probably not going to be able to create it for a couple of days. But maybe when you do that, a salesperson should do a follow-up call. Do that follow-up call and say, hey, did you get a chance to sign up for that? And put your, sign up for that off-rodeo. And because, off-rodeo is, you get a free, you can go to off-rodeo, free registration to off-rodeo with every purchase. And now it's for 23 model year, it's any Bronco Sport gets to go as well. So all Bronco Sports, all Broncos, all Bronco Raptors are getting to go to that now for 23 model year. The other thing they can do is get into a monthly drawing for a Bronco off-rodeo experience for a sales consultant and a guest, which is pretty awesome. So every customer that attends Bronco off-rodeo October 1st through December 16th, sales consultants will be entered into a monthly drawing to win a trip to the Bronco off-rodeo location of their choice with a guest, plus a $1,000 gift card to cover travel costs. Winners will be announced monthly and have 2 or 6 months to use their credit. So, so there you go. Well, or you could just go and pay the $95 and pay the cost to go there like I am. But anyway, there you go. So Bronco sales consultants out there, get on it. Help your customers learn a little more about Bronco off-roading. We got a little thing we've had in here for several weeks, sitting right out there. Go to that. That's pretty cool. Again, I'll be doing some videos this week. I'm going to be going to Nevada and going to the Bronco off-rodeo, and going to go drive a Bronco Raptor. So anyway, there you go. All right. The last dealer news is more letting dealers know about a video that came out, and that they're free to share that on their social. So Ford is, I think, fed up with UAW a little bit because, and I actually linked this video in the description, so you can go down there and check it out. Watch it later. not doing the live stream. Watch it later. Link is in the description, though. It is called UAW Strikers Starve While Shawn Fain Gets Rich, and it is by John McElroy from Autoline Network. I watched this actually before they even posted it. I watched this video, and I was like, wow, he's got some valid points. So there's a quote that they gave dealers in here. From the video. So if you don't watch the whole video, and so I'm just going to read this real quick. Basically, it says, so if Fain is, now this is quoting John McElroy. This is not me. Preface that, not me. I should put that, get a little thing on the screen. So he quoted and said, so if Fain is still drawing a salary from Chrysler UAW Training Center as treasurer, and he's also drawing a salary as president of the UAW, that means he's going to make about $454,000 this year. It says, I'll bet most people in the union are not aware that their president is making that kind of money. By the way, I contacted UAW. I asked them, did Shawn Fain truly draw two different salaries last year and make that the kind of money that these forms seem to indicate? And is he still drawing a salary as the treasurer of the Chrysler UAW Training Center? He said that was several days ago. I haven't heard anything back. He goes on to say, so my message to the striking workers is your union has already bargained a fantastic contract. They've gotten major concessions from the automakers, concessions that I never thought they would agree to. But Shawn's not going to say yes, not because he wants more concessions, but because he wants to damage these car companies. He wants to keep them in chaos. He wants to keep them wounded for months. Sorry. And those aren't my words. Those are UAW's words. So he's quoting where they released some of that information out there. So that's so watch that video if you want. He's got some insight there about that. That's intriguing. Anyway, whether I agree with that or not, I wanted to put that out there. If you want to check that out, that's out there. And Ford actually letting the dealers know that article is out there. Anyway, so we'll see. Not going to talk anymore about that. Hopefully they get settled. And I know a lot of them are ready to get back to work because they're trying to live on $500 a week and they're sitting out there in the freezing cold.
Yeah.
I mean, there was an article from the Detroit Free Press. I think it was Phoebe, can't remember the last name now. She had quoted and they talked to people there and they were having like 4 shirts on and a Carhartt on and they're freezing. They're putting wood in a drum so they can sit around, and even some of them are like, they look and see vehicles over there and they're like, we can't do anything. We want to go over and get these built, and they want to get back to work. So I don't know. So maybe they need a new UAW president. I'm not sure. Anyway, all right.
Someone said that they need to go from, probably it's the board that's voting on whether or not they take deals.
Probably not. It's not just Fain.
Yeah.
It's a group.
The whole board.
Yeah.
But they need to let the UAW body vote.
Wouldn't be a bad idea.
Like, let your workers actually be the ones to vote. Like, do we accept this or not? Instead of your higher ups that are making the more money.
Because they're not living off $500 a week.
They are not.
They're not. So
they have a salary.
They're not taking concessions right now. They're not taking a lower pay going in, which maybe they should if they want their money to last longer. But I think it was even Johnny's car care reviews that he was actually commenting about how long that they thought they had enough money to get by the strike, and they're getting close to the end of that.
Yes.
I think he had said it was probably, he thought 6 weeks, maybe 2 months, and we're at 6 weeks now. Mm-hmm. So anyway, all right. Anyway, in this video and all my videos, it's about being positive, being kind to one another. So we'll stop being unkind to Shawn Fain and the UAW. And we'll move on and try to be positive here. Let's talk about. Here's a positive thing: no recalls to cover this week. So there you go. Next thing is I want to get into the is it true, unless you have some other questions before that, because we're going to run into the is it true and on my mind, all going to scroll right into each other. So if we have any other questions before I get into price protection and private offers, we should answer those now. No?
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right.
We talked about the nightly news.
So
Now you look like a newscaster
yeah,
flipping the page over.
yep. I was thinking that earlier too. All right, so this week we're gonna talk about price protection, and we're gonna talk about private offers. And to do that, this week's Is It True says, is it true that price protection no longer exists? I've actually had several people that reached out and said their dealer says price protection no longer exists, and I think what it is the dealer is telling. I think the dealer is telling me that Ford is no longer giving a price protection, is what this person said. And I think what's happening is that the dealers are getting confused when Ford says that they're not doing any kind of price protection from one model year to the next. So because they gave them their estimate for allocations, which they're no longer doing, by the way, so we're going to probably have more issues with that, is that that because they know that number, they're trying to make sure dealerships, hey, you keep within your allocation number that you think you're going to get when taking orders, because we don't want to carry those orders over to the next model year. And so you need to stay within that number. And we're not, because of that, we're not going to do any private offers. So if your customer has an order that doesn't get scheduled within that model year, we're not doing a private offer for the next one. We're not price protecting it. That's different. That's called a private offer, which we're going to talk about in a second, but not price protection. That is still happening. It's been happening since 2016. I have an image where it actually shows 2016 Explorer as an example, and the price protection has been around since then, because usually what they have is what they call a mid-year price increase, because they used to just have one price increase in the model year. And that's usually your job 1 and job 2. When you go to job 2, that's where you usually would see that price increase. Lately, in the last couple of years, they've been doing more than one a year, and you would have price protected for that. So, so let me kind of go through some of this. I actually jotted down notes. I want to make sure. Yeah, price protection. So price protection isn't the same thing as a private offer. So they are separate things. So let me go in and pull this up here. Oops, that's not the one I wanted. There we go. That's the one I wanted. I moved them around too much. All right. So this is a sheet that Ford has given out. Actually, it was earlier in this model year, or in this year, basically saying there's 3 different programs to help protect retail order customers. So there's the incentive protection, there's price protection, and there's model year transition. So there's 3 different things there. And so what we want to talk about first is price protection. So you can see the top thing up there. It's actually sectioned off by program, eligibility, and payment, and how the dealer gets paid. So that program, price protection protects a vehicle price if there is a price action or increase taken within the model year. So if there's a price increase after you ordered your vehicle, you get price protected to what it was when you ordered. It's that simple. It does say here, paid automatically 30 to 45 days after the dealer reports the sale. What's eligible? So a lease and retail customers are eligible. The original order price is protected at the time of order, unless there are any changes to the body code or the PEP code. The PEP package, that's your trim. That's your trim code. So like for the Maverick, 300A is XLT, 500A is Lariat. So that is that. Body code would be your drivetrain and such. So that's one reason why Maverick changed the body codes. Instead of having 3 and 22, they went to having like 8, because if you change the trim, it automatically changes your body code and you're not price protected anymore. Customer's info at the sale must match the customer's info at order. That is the other thing that has to be eligible for the price protection. So no changes to your trim or your body code, and the name has to match what it was when you ordered from when you get it. Dealer will receive an adjusted invoice in Visions, and the difference is paid on the dealer statement. Dealer payment statement is what they usually call that. So basically, a very simple. I tell customers this. People are like, okay, so there's a price increase on this date. This went up this much. This went up this much, and they're trying to do the math and everything. I said, you're doing it way too complicated. It's this simple. What was the price when you ordered the vehicle? That's your price. It's that simple. Mm-hmm. It is not difficult at all. It's very simple. Get the DORA. That's the dealer order receipt acknowledgement. That is when you order the vehicle, that the dealer can see that is the price you pay. Mm-hmm. If the price goes up, you don't have to pay that price increase. It's really simple. I could tell the sales guys,
Now
you just pull that door out and boom, there it is.
It used to be that they got printed, doors got printed every single time an order was placed.
Mm-hmm.
They no longer do that.
Mm-mm.
They now go into a system, and someone at the dealership has access to see those now and can pull it.
General sales manager has access. Your inventory manager has access.
Mm-hmm.
We have about 3 people at our dealership that can pull that.
Mm-hmm.
But also, when you did the order and you sign that order, there's your sheet right there. Use that sheet. So, like for the Maverick, here's an example. The Maverick went up $500. So the trim. The base trim went up $400 and the destination delivery went up $100.
Mm-hmm.
So now if you make changes after the price increase to your order, there are some dealers are saying, well, because you made changes after the price increase, now this is the new price. And the reason they're saying that is because when they print the new sheet, they're seeing that higher price. So they just assume that's the price you're going to pay now. But that's not true.
No.
If they don't make changes, like for the Maverick, what went up was the base XLT, base Lariat went up, but none of the packages went up.
Mm-hmm.
They stayed the same. So if you don't make changes, let's say you're on an XLT and you add the Lux package didn't go up, just the trim level did. So that doesn't affect your
packages,
your package
spray and
doesn't
bed
change
liner,
that.
dealer installed options.
And your destination delivery doesn't change. So there is no price increase. So what in that case, it is a little trickier because you want to take your original Dora before you add the package and then just add the package price to it.
Yes.
And then you just add that to your original price instead of trying to add this subtraction and everything.
Yes.
Some vehicles, it's real easy. Like on Maverick, we know. I tell all the guys, look at your invoice, subtract $480 because they did a Wi-Fi hotspot credit of $20. So that's why it was a price increase of $480. I said, take your current invoice and subtract $480 on all your Mavericks. That's your price. I mean, it's that simple. Like I said, unless they switch from XLT to Lariat or vice versa, that's the only time you would lose that price increase. So dealers are making this harder than it is. And like I said, 30 to 45 days later is when they get it. So here's how this works. About the 20th of every month is when the dealer gets the dealer payment statement. So what they do is they go through the month of all the things that happen for that dealership within that month in a way of credits, in a way of transactions, different things, products. Like we have a lot of Ford products that are billed to us, and whatever those happen throughout that month, then at the end of the month, then they start working on, they got 20 days to actually send the credits and invoices to the dealers. That's your dealer payment statement. So that usually comes around the 20th of every month. Well, if you end up getting a vehicle before December 31st, October 31st, then you're probably going to see that credit on the 20th. Mm-hmm. And the reason I mentioned that is because there are some dealers out there that are like, you know what, we don't think we're going to get our money. So I tell you what, if Ford sent it to us, then we'll let you have it later. You got to hold their foot to the fire then if that's true. Put that in writing and then check back with them around the 20th, 21st of the month. Because what will happen is that dealer payment statement will actually have all the different credits on per VIN number. It'll have your VIN number and how much they gave the dealership back.
Yes.
And so then they could see that and go, oh, okay, we do owe you $480 because they paid us a credit. Mm-hmm. So instead of them giving another $480 of gross on the deal and the salesperson doesn't see it, so the dealership just keeps it. And it's a great way for the owners to scoop more money. But that's how that works. So that's why it's 30 to 45 days, because let's say you buy the vehicle on the 2nd or 3rd of the month. Well, you're not going to see it for 45 days or longer because it has to wait till the end of the month, and then it'll be the 20th of next month. So really, if you buy like in the first couple of days of the month, it's going to be like almost 2 months before you see it. Anyway, so that's how price protection works. And yes, it is still a thing. Yes. And it will continue to be a thing.
Yeah.
So
a lot of dealers got confused on that.
Yep. Now let's move on and talk about something else. We're going to talk about private offers, but before we do that, there's something else that also gets protected within the model year, and that's your incentives. So let's talk about that as well. So here we go. Incentive protection. And incentives will be your rebates and any special rates that apply to your vehicle. And this is done real similar to price protection in a sense that Ford will know when you ordered the vehicle, what date, and what the incentives were when you ordered. And so on this one here, as you can see, the program is called Incentive Protection. Incentive Protection protects incentives available at the time of the order or the customer registered for pipeline or delivery hold units. So what that means, that last part after the slash. So now what you can do is if you go to a dealership and they don't have what you want, but let me go to this, but one is in transit, you can actually say, hey, I want that one. It's the 30th of the month. We know rebates might change tomorrow. So I want to go ahead and lock that in. So actually the dealership can register that vehicle that's in transit and lock in incentives today's date for that. And so that's what that means. So I want to clarify that. The incentives are automatically protected to the programs at the time of the locking deal or the day you order. So, and we're going to show you where to find this for dealers. Now it says eligible customers, lease and retail customers. Says choose between the date of the locked incentives or the date at the time of the sale in Smart Vincent, SV is Smart Vincent. And it says protected incentives, all public and private lease and retail incentives. And how is it paid? There's no need for adjusted payment paid out after sale. Payment paid out after sale. So let me show you this. Here's how you find that. So basically on incentive protection, you get that through what they call Smart Vincent. So the dealer most all dealers will pull any incentives that might be available to you when they go to do your deal, so you can see if there's any special rates, any rebates. Maybe you even have a private offer you aren't aware of called ICA offers, and this is how they would pull that. So what they need to do is, you'll notice the default is the sale date. So that left side where it says sale date, that's usually what's highlighted. And sale date is a day you're doing the deal. Let's say that'd be today's date if you're buying the vehicle today. But if they click on the protect date and then hit the search, that'll actually show what your rates were and incentives were when you ordered the vehicle. So there you go. So, and actually it shows you somewhere on that, actually it's on the screen, what that actual order date was on that order. So that's how that works. So again, these are done also within the model year. So these special rates, like we had some people on, that carried over, let's say from 22 to 23, because in 22, Ford put out some pretty cool rates and everything on 22 model year at the beginning, in September and all. And as long as that vehicle came in within the 22 model year and it stayed as a 22, you got those incentives from when you ordered. But some of the people didn't get scheduled, and so it carried over to 23. Well, those incentives were lost. So again, that, just like price protection, is only honored within the model year.
Right.
All right. Now we've covered two of those. We've covered two of them now. Incentive protection, price protection. Now that last column is model year transition. So let's dive into that. And that's what I want to kind of talk about in the rest of this video as part of what's on my mind. So transition private offers. So private offers for those who had a COVP verified order that went unscheduled or canceled within a current model year. These offers do not protect price, but rather assist in transitioning a customer to the new model year. Offers will vary based on product refresh cycle and usually what they ordered in that model year. Eligible vehicle customers are lease and retail customers. Order must be COVP verified. So we'll get into this. We'll read through it and then we'll get into all the nitty gritty. And they say also all model year transition offers are unique to the individual nameplate. Offers are based on price changes, do not take into effect incentive changes. Again, like we just talked about, those don't carry over. Payment, the offers are loaded into Smart Vincent, and dealers can find them via the certificate inquiry screen, which we're going to show you that screen in a second. And then the model year transition private offer is paid via Smart Vincent. So those are like a rebate in a sense for you. So that's how those are done. So this would be a customer, and Ford said they're going to stop doing this. in 23. There were going to be no 24 model year private offers. The only model that I know is that has it right now is the Maverick, because they had so many orders that didn't go unscheduled. In fact, Ford told dealers this was not going to happen. We actually had a couple orders that we canceled because they said, no, I'm not going to put in for 24. So we canceled their 23 order, and then it came out and said there's private offers. And the customers came back and said, yeah, I do want to transition over. And I'm like, oh crap. Well, we can't now because that order is canceled, because they need to be able to see the order in there when they go to look at it. And at that point, that order was gone. So I think Ford did a bad thing there, because they told dealers all this time for the whole model year, there will not be a transition private offer. If your customers don't get scheduled, the price is going to go up. They're going to have to pay a higher price. And then right before they opened up the order banks for 24 model year, they said, we are going to give private offers for those that are left. All right. Thanks. All right. Well, thanks a lot. But so basically the way this works is if you had a 23 model year that went unscheduled, did not get produced, did not get scheduled for production, then Ford was giving you a private offer that you can be used towards the 24 model year order. So they don't just carry that 23 model year order over. You have to put a new order in for 24 model year. And so Ford is giving you basically a price protection in a form of a private offer. So I don't like I don't like to get those two words confused. Price protection, private offer. Price protection is not necessarily the same thing. So anyway, so with this, basically, as we mentioned in there, two things have to happen. One is you had to have an unscheduled 23 model year order and put in a 24 model year order. Also, what has to happen is they have to be CVP verified. So if you did not have if your dealer did not do CVP approval on your 23 order, then you're not going to get a private offer. Also, for the Maverick, your order number had to be the same. So your 23 and your 24 model year order has to have the same order number to match up for them as well. So if you're sitting there, also Ford did something special on Maverick this year, is that they gave all those customers that had a 23 unscheduled CVP verified order that went unscheduled, and then they went to 24 model year, they gave them priority 2. So they gave them a higher priority. So yeah, that's something else that you, if you don't have a priority 2 on your order, that'd be something to be concerned about. Now, not too concerned, because we had a couple of those happen, and it was just that they got overlooked. So your dealer can contact your sales and inventory specialist and said, hey, this order should be a priority 2, because we had it was an unscheduled 23 and we have the 24, same order number. Both of them are COV verified. And then all they got to do is go in and see, oh yeah, we see that. And then they switch it over to O2. We had that happen on about 5 orders. Not a problem. We had it done within 24 hours. But if your dealer is struggling to get your priority 2, that probably means one of two things happened. Either they didn't COVP your 23 model year order, or your 24 is not COVP'd, or your order numbers don't match. So that is a clue as well. So let me go and show you how you can find out whether or not you have well, you can't do it, but your dealer can do it. So let me show you. Get the right screen. Here we go. So how your dealership finds out if you have one of these private offers. So this is an example. And this is a screenshot I used last year. So where I did one for myself. So you can, this is called a certificate inquiry that your Ford dealer can do for you. I can do it as well, but please don't all send me your information, because I really don't have time to look up everybody's. Go to your dealer first, try to see if they'll do it. But all you got to do is go to your dealer and they can do a certificate inquiry, and you don't even have to have a VIN number yet, because if you have a certificate from a 23 to 24 model year, it will show up now, even if you're not scheduled. So there's a couple different ways to look this up. As you can see search by name and zip, search by phone number and email, so on and so forth. So this first one, search by name and zip, you can see in this case, I put in my zip code and I put in my last name. And then I hit that certificate inquiry tab button there, and it popped up. And for me, that's all I did. And it did pop up my information and my address. And so I was able to see that down here and see the private offers that are eligible. I happen to have a Ford Pass Rewards Visa card certificate program that was available at the time I did this for $250. So there's maybe some other offers that you might have that you may not be aware of. But you're also you can see it, the Ford Retail Owner Bonus Cash Certificate. That's because I placed an order and they had an extra $1,000 at the time. But also your private offer would be in there. So it actually would say a transition model year offer for those. And that's where that would be listed. Now, for some reason, if you pull that and it doesn't work, let's say the dealer put in the wrong zip code when they submitted your order. That can happen. Or let's say they misspelled your name for some reason. A lot of people like to put an S on my name instead of a Z. So let's say when they submitted my order, they misspelled my name. Well, great. There's another way that you can look it up, and that is by email address or phone number. So we actually had this happen this week or last week. Someone wanted me to look it up. I said, hey, give me the email address. That works the best. So we put in their email address. We hit the certificate inquiry. It didn't pull up anything. It said no offers. I'm like, uh-oh. Okay, can you give me their phone number that you put for their order? We put the phone number in, we researched, boom, it popped up. So for some reason, when we put in their order, we put the wrong email address in. Probably why they didn't get any emails when their order got scheduled. So human error, it happens. But those are 3 different ways you can look up your certificate. So have your dealer try all 3. So if your dealer puts in your name and says, yep, it didn't pull up. Well, especially if they put in the first name, right? And let's say your first name is complicated as well, and they misspell it. My wife, Barbara, she doesn't have an A that a lot of people like to use. Mm-hmm. Hers is Barbara, not Barbara. And so there's a situation where if they put her name in there and they misspelled it, it wouldn't pull up. So that's why we always search with just a last name, and then it'll pull up all options for that last name. So, and that's how it would work. And then if that doesn't work, have them try the email address only, or try the phone number only. And then you have that. So, but once you can get them to pull it up and they can see that offer, oh, yep, it's showing in there. Here's certificate number. Like I've searched for several for our Maverick customers. And I'm like, write down the certificate number, because I have seen situations where at the end of a quarter or something, where that certificate somehow it reloads. Like at the end of December, we're going to have this happen. I know it. Those you'll see, and don't be warned if like on this case here, it's showing an expiration date, January 3rd of 23. And if you see that, you're like, oh, mine expires. If my vehicle doesn't get scheduled, doesn't come in by January 3rd, I'm out of this. No, it's just their offers go on a quarterly basis. So they have to have an expiration date on those. And so they will expire every quarter. So if you see that the offer expires in January, don't freak out. They'll reset in January. But in case it doesn't, write down a certificate number, because that's always good, because they'll be able to reference that certificate number and say, yeah, for some reason it didn't refresh, and carry over to the next month or next quarter, and you have it. So anyway, that's how you find out whether or not you get your private offers, and how you can get those private offers, and how that all works. And so if your dealer says nope, and you know that you had a 23 now ordered to 24, and your dealer's like, nope, there's no offer in there, then there's a problem. So we need to make sure, because I should have a private offer. And so, have them try those different tips that I just gave you on that, to be able to try to find those. So,
yeah.
Got any questions on this? Or did I explain it so well that there's no questions?
I think they've been waiting for your explanation to be done before they start asking questions.
Well, drop them in there.
All right. We've been talking about how many vehicles you've owned.
I don't want to talk about that. Actually, it's not as much as some people around here.
Ridgeview says he's had 30. Gino's had 40. I counted. I've had, between me and Lebo, since we've been married, 12 for us.
Oh, man.
Mind you, that's in a 5-year span. He trades old cars a lot. But just me, I realized 6, because my name was on the Lightning before we sold it.
I don't even know how many I have, to be honest. I've been trading a little more often lately, because I like driving some of these new products. I know that our GM does that. He'll buy a vehicle, and he'll because the way that works with as a dealership employee, we do get dealership pricing from Ford, but the deal on that is you have to own it for 6 months before you trade it in.
Yes.
And so because of that, we get a vehicle 6 months later, get a new one. This and the Lightning I had for a year, and I would have had it longer. It's just
it's time for something new.
That payment was pretty high.
Well, and I mean, what better way to learn your product than actually driving it for 6 months? I think I learned more about the F-150 in the 6 months that we had it than I ever have before. And so for me, that was a really good learning opportunity to own one. The Maverick, I'm great with the Maverick and the Maverick knowledge because I drove one for a year.
Which is one of the reasons why I traded in was, we had one that became available. Yeah. And I'm like, if I got one, I would want a Tremor, off-road capabilities and all that. Mm-hmm. And so one came available, and I'm like, I'd want a Lariat with all the equipment and all the bells and whistles and everything. And yeah.
So Elizabeth, she says 11 between her and her husband. They keep them until they rust around. I kept my Camry until it rusted out on me. And there was a mechanic that was like, mother to mother, you can't drive this. You need to stop. Trade it in. Get rid of it. So I traded in for the Transit. Mm-hmm. From there, I was actually going to keep the Transit, except I hated it. I hated the transmission. It came to a lurch.
Yeah.
It lurched to a stop. So got the Maverick.
Transit Connect is sunsetting as well. It's gone away.
Yes. But I got the Maverick, and I was going to keep that for a really long time, or at least until they got plug-in hybrid. And then my husband decided that we needed an F-150. So we got an F-150. And then we traded that for a Fusion because, gas mileage. Yeah. So
I won't go through all of them. I do I make sure your mom's in a newer one. She's going to go out of town. She's going to go pick up the grandkids and you kids. I always made sure you guys were in a vehicle that was newer, under warranty, and all that kind of stuff. It was in good shape. So usually, we trade her out every 3 years. Like, she was fine with her Expedition, but we traded her out when the new body style came out. So, and I think we'll be about right, because he's in a 22 now, to get the new 25, which I think the 25 will be a refresh.
Yeah.
And so I'm working it out now to where she's got a 22, is that she's going to always have the newest refresh and the newest body style for the next year and everything. So that allows me to also see it at another vehicle when they have refreshes in the 25s. I can't tell you what it looks like, but it's going to be cool.
See, and I drive our 17 C-Max, and I like that. It's nice. It works. Yep. It's nice and sturdy for the kids. So.
All right. Any other questions?
All righty. Are 23 Bronco Heritage that are scheduled for late November going to be built, or will they be canceled, rolled over to 24 with price protection?
Do what now? What model was that on? Oh, you got it on screen. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, 23 Heritage. Yeah, that's a good question that I don't have an answer for yet. We did see some, let's see, last year we saw some Escapes and some Super Duty orders that were scheduled and then got canceled. We saw that with Maverick as well. It happened for 22 model year on Maverick. We had some that got canceled. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. We don't know yet. I think the first part is we got to get the plant back up and running, and then we'll probably get them information. So until that happens and they know how many they need to build of the what's already scheduled, right? Because they, I know in the Bronco they were planning to build into the middle of December anyway. Mm-hmm. But right now the plant's been down for 5 weeks, so that's a whole month of production that's not happening. So all those that were supposed to be built last month are going to get pushed into November. Mm-hmm. And then November's into December. Hopefully I don't think they've scheduled any December build dates. So maybe because of that, they'll be okay and not cancel them. But we'll have to see. At this point, we don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happened at this point. Not saying it's going to happen. So don't mark my word. Don't put it out on forum that I said that. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't be surprised if it happened to Explorer. Expedition and Super Duty, they're just launching 24, but let's see what else. Ranger will be fine too, but so we'll see. So,
all right. What possible changes could we expect since we will have a job 2 of 24 Mustang soon?
So they haven't started scheduling job 2 yet. So if yours is scheduled to be built, it'll be a job 1. this point, they're doing balance out for job one.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, you're still going to have a job one Mustang that won't be different when it says. What we'll see when they go to job two is we'll see a new order guide. We'll have an order guide update with the job two changes. And so I'll try to, and I always dive in. I compare each one of those, like page for page, option for option, standard equipment, everything. I like to see what is different. Sometimes it may not be something that's even shown on the order guide. It could be as simple as this display looks like this instead of that. We had that happen in Maverick halfway through their job two for 22 model year. The temperature control went from having the temperature display on the knob to just having a little icon, and then when you change the temperature, it showed on the screen. And they didn't say that wasn't in the order guide because they didn't have to put in the order guide because it was never in the order guide of how the display was going to look.
Right.
They don't describe everything. So, and they'll make those changes. I told a customer that, said Ford makes changes on different things, and they may not tell you what's different in job two versus job one. If it's not an order guide change that needs to be made, they won't tell dealers that. They'll just make the change, and then when it comes in, you'll be like, oh, okay, well, that's not what I thought.
Right.
But here you go. Take it or leave it. So.
Yeah. That's why when you go to an auto show, they don't let you look at it closely at first, and then as they get more and more finalized, they open it up more and more. So they'll put it on a stage with barriers, and then they'll put it on a stage without barriers, and then they'll let you open it and show the interior. And
some of those early ones, they don't even have the interiors, final production interior, so they don't want you to see it. So I mean, that's what we saw. What in Chicago was just darkened out, so you couldn't see the interior because it wasn't a final production vehicle.
Yep.
And then.
Because they don't want to be showing you a vehicle that's not final production, because then you're going to be
like expecting it.
Audio media will go in there and make videos and be like, oh, look at this interior, and then they might change something, and then everyone's expecting something else. So yeah. Let's see what else we got. I plan on flat towing the MAV behind an RV. Base plate install does surgery on the shroud and active shutters. Would you know if removal of the active shutters might void the engine warranty?
Good question. It might.
Yeah.
It might. You'd have to ask your dealer. I'm sales. That's a service related question.
Yeah.
And it will definitely affect the performance of your motor. So I'd try not to do it if you can get away from it. But if you don't have an option, because those open and close when it needs to, as long as I guess they're not there, then they can just come through, allow air in whenever it needs to. It's probably going to because it's supposed to help cool off the engine at lower speeds. And so, just closes it for better fuel economy on highway speeds. But if they're not there, I probably won't void your warranty if they're not there. As long as your engine does. If they say your engine's overheating because they're not there or something, then that could be a problem. But I don't know. Ask your dealer, and they can, send it over and find out. They can get
you pointed in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yep. Making sure I'm not missing any questions. Oh, this was a question for later on the lot walk. Tim said 28 on Dean's MAV looked like there is a sticker on the back window. Any idea why the miles?
Yes, testing.
Yes.
So they pick so many units, every so many units, they will take it and drive it a little bit, make sure that's good. And so that's, yep.
All right. My Ford dealer has closed and selling used only. So they're no longer a Ford dealer. Someone called today from another dealer and stated my Lightning ER order is in. Can I get my deposit back?
That I think the deposit, I don't know if the deposit's transferred to the new dealer or not, but now that new dealer is the delivering dealer for your Lightning.
And if it's in,
I think now the way they're doing any of those deposits and stuff is that you go through Ford. So if you go through and cancel, then it's refunded back. But I think you're gonna have to talk to that new dealer to get that money back.
Back to the warranty. The person that you would want to talk to is go to your local service and ask for their warranty manager or their, I think like John may ask this, one of our service managers.
Start with the
would know
service
that.
advisors, and they can point you in the right direction.
Yeah, they certainly can.
Somebody we haven't seen in a while. Patricia, nice seeing you in here.
Yes.
Glad you could join us. Good seeing you in there. Not that I could see you, but you know what I'm saying.
We saw her name.
Yeah.
All right. Ford Pass keeps going into battery saver mode. Took it to the dealership. Everything checked out. Any ideas? Maybe it's the app. So it might be the app that your phone is putting it into battery saver mode. If it's not affecting the vehicle and shutting down the vehicle and you can still drive it just fine, it's most likely, I'm thinking, your app going into battery saver mode via your phone. Because I know, like, I have apps that if I don't use it enough, it goes into battery saver mode and it turns it off, so I'm not getting notifications and it's not, using as much energy. In fact, I think my Ford Pass app is in battery saver mode.
Yeah, and it could be that the battery's just not charged up. If they say the battery's fine, though, I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. Sometimes it just needs to be driven a little bit, and it'll come out of that.
I see what I've been telling people, because people are worried about your vehicle going into deep sleep mode. Drive it once a week. Even if you aren't going grocery shopping or you're doing anything, go out, do a nice little drive on a Sunday or Saturday or something, and give it some time to recharge each week. That'll keep you out of that battery saver mode, keep you out of the deep sleep mode, and you get out of the house.
Well, like the Bronco, we didn't drive it much of the winter last year, and I had some issues. I'd get in it and like, okay, I got to keep driving it because then it wouldn't start again. So now I'm making sure I drive it at least every Saturday.
Yeah.
So, but yes, and it's actually going to be in the shop this week. Nothing bad. It's all good. Let's say upgrades. That's what it is. We got some upgrades coming on the Bronco. I'm going above the Sasquatch package on suspension. So I'm just saying that. I'm gonna one up it. I'm gonna one up the Sasquatch, except I won't have a front locker, but that's okay. I don't need it.
No, you don't. Not for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Not sure who to contact at McArthur, but I don't want badging since I'll be having to take it to a local service. Contact your salesman.
Yep.
Dan Penner, yours came in today, so it just got checked in. It won't get set up yet, probably till tomorrow. Yeah, maybe the next day.
He's pretty quick though. But yeah, let Dan know, and then he'll and the guy that does our setup, that he'll know not to put that on there. But if it does end up on there, those are just stickers. They're just double-sided stickers. But we'll try to, and if it does end up on there, we'll get it off of there cleanly. So because we take some of those off all the time, or the vinyls and stuff that we put on some of our vehicles. And so our guys know how to take that off. And aftermarket, like I said, Blake, a lot of times will take those. And he takes he'll take a warmer to it.
It's super easy to take that off. So if it happens to get on there, it's easy to take off. I learned how to do it when I was in wash line.
Yeah.
Super easy. You just take a little bit of paint safe sticky remover. I think we used
and sometimes if they heat, but like Blake, he'll heat it up a little so it comes off nice and clean. But it shouldn't be on there yet. So we'll get with Dan and we'll make sure that doesn't get put on there to begin with. So you have to deal with it. But we can get it off cleanly and without any damage to the paint if it does end up on there. But yes, I understand. Take it to your local service dealer. You don't want them to know where you got it or anything. So
my orders. So he was the one with the warranty question. His orders with us. You can certainly reach out to our service manager with your warranty questions, especially if you're going to have the work done here.
Oh yeah, if we're going to do it, we wouldn't. If it's getting done here, we will never, like, if it's going to void your warranty, we'll let you know before we do the work. We'll say, we could do that, but it will void your warranty, and they'll let you know even ahead of time.
Yes.
So if it's something that we're doing, then yeah, you should be fine.
Yeah. we are very careful about that. Our aftermarket department's amazing when it comes to things like that. They'll avoid warranties. They are going to be straightforward with you and not do anything without consulting you first. I was wondering what is entailed for the dealer install on the trailer tow package for the 24 Bronco. So they
install a trailer tow package. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's going to get the hitch, which
Mhm.
just bolts on, and then the wiring harness that holds the wires. So from what I understand is it'll still be, the wiring will be pre-wired on every Bronco, and so that'll already be back there. And so then what they're going to send to the dealer is the hitch and the actual holder, the wiring itself that plugs into the wires that are under there. So that's what I'm understanding. We actually covered it, probably a month ago now, where they actually gave dealers instructions for the dealer installed. So it really shouldn't take too long, maybe a half an hour labor. I think they're only allowing for 1.6 hours of labor on that. So hopefully they can get it done less than that, so it actually doesn't cost them any more money.
Yep.
So
TC Customs said if you have a Bronco VIN and build date, it would be built, not to worry. Have you heard the story for the late question?
that if you have a Bronco VIN and build
Date.
build date, it would be built, not to worry. Okay, so typically I would say yes to that answer, but we saw in the Maverick that some VINs got canceled. So
Yes.
before last year, I would say wholeheartedly, I have never seen a VIN get assigned and a build date a scheduled build date happen and it not get built. But last year we did see it happen for the Escape, for some Super Duties, as well as with, maybe it wasn't Super Duties. I know Escape and Mavericks.
No, Super Duty was one.
Was okay. We did see 3 models where they canceled some VINs that were scheduled because of supply issues. So he's right. Typically, most years prior to last year, I would have said that wholeheartedly. In fact, I said it last year.
Yes, you did.
And then I was like,
And then
okay, it happened. And I was wrong. So there is a possibility that could happen. So,
Yep.
Especially with what's going on now with the strike, right?
Yeah.
Now, for 24 model year, I don't think it's going to happen. So anything that's got scheduled, even at a plant that's closed and on strike right now, there's enough of the model year left that it shouldn't be an issue with anything for 24. But a late 23, there is a possibility.
Yeah.
And I think Bronco would be the only. I'm trying to think. I think Bronco is the only one.
Yeah.
That I would be concerned about that. Even Maverick didn't have an issue with that. All those got built. In fact, that's why they moved. I think they actually were supposed to start production the 16th. For 24 model year, and it ended up being 19th because they needed those other 3 days to finish out 23. So that didn't happen. So really, the only model that I'd be concerned about happening right now is the 23 Bronco.
What about Super Duty?
No, I think no, because their Super Duty production ended.
Oh, you're right.
Well, yeah,
maybe
because it was just Kentucky Truck Plant that got
right.
that, because Ohio was continuing to build into October, but I think when the strike happened, they were already done. They were already starting to build 24s.
That's right. They were working on 24.
I'm
so
pretty
that
sure.
one's good.
So we should be good. But
okay. Does every dealer determine when a loaner is given, or does Ford Motor Company reimburse for loaner for certain recalls or customer satisfaction programs?
So all the recalls will have, hey, this, and they get a loaner, or they don't. So on the recalls, it'll designate whether or not, based on this recall, they do get a loaner while you're fixing it. And on other services, though, it is up to the dealer on some of it, what they'll reimburse, because usually like oil changes and normal service is not a loaner.
So I think like the recalls,
payback.
If it's going to take more than this long to get the parts, they're going to keep you in it if it's not a stop engine recall. Right? So if you can continue normally driving it without any risk to you, they're going to have you keep doing that until the part comes in, and then they're going to switch it. If it's one that you have to stop your engine, I think Ford does have a loaner set up for that. Or if it's something that's going to take over a day to fix, they'll give you a loaner for that as well.
It's actually, I don't go over that information, but it's in the recall information, and it says about loaners and such. And it says that if your customer comes in, even though they don't have the letter yet, they come in with this issue, put them in a loaner.
Yes.
So
some of them
anyway,
do
yep.
say
So
that.
it's in the recall when they pull it up.
Yeah, but other work, it is up to the dealer on how they handle that. I think here, if it's going to take more than 2 hours, they'll give you a loaner if you don't want to wait at the dealership. I think that's our service department's policy. All right. We went over that. Or will my 23 Heritage Bronco be price protected?
Again, price protection within the model year. So yes. Yeah. So what it was when you ordered it. So if you ordered it, in March when the open back up, then your price, well, it doesn't, you're going to be price protected. So whenever you ordered in 23. So since every model, nothing just gets carried over, you actually have to reorder. So let's say you had a 22 and then you could order, then you would have a private offer from 22 to 23 in price protection beginning. So there are some vehicles where, let's say we're going to see that with Maverick as well, where 24 model year, they had a 23 that rolled over to 24. And let's say there's a price increase in January. We're going to see some customers that will get a price protection from the beginning of 24 and a private offer if it carried over from 23 to 24. So you would get both.
Yeah. So basically, if I get canceled and I have to reorder 24 Heritage Bronco, I wouldn't be price protected because it's only in the model year.
What they'll probably do is they'll give those canceled orders a special private offer. I would be really shocked if they didn't do that.
What they've done in the past is they can't price protect between model years. They instead do the private offer, and that is your model year price protection.
And it won't be to the dollar.
No.
We've seen that with some of the Maverick customers that some situations it actually didn't cover the price increase. Some situations it exceeded it.
Airmoceo plant impacted by strike ? MAV scheduled to start building in December. At this point, Airmoceo is not being affected by the strike. You should be good.
Yep. The plant that makes the motors and such is not affected. So that plant that makes the motors, they do help make transmissions and such for Kentucky truck plant. So like there's a thing going out and saying, hey, these plants are affected because Kentucky truck plant is down. Well, what that means is because they make stuff for Kentucky, that there could be some people being laid off, but not the people that are making the motors for Airmoceo, since that plant's still going. So that's kind of how that works. So there will be some layoffs from that plant, but not when it comes to the production of those engines for Airmoceo plant.
Yeah.
So
there were used vehicles that were 22 models. So what happens to the 3-year, 36,000 mile remaining warranty? And with that, the 5,000
there are used vehicles that were
the 5K powertrain warranty.
Okay, so warranties all start with the first day they go into service or sale or bought. So if you see a used 22 model year out there, you can actually, the dealership can pull and find out when it actually was put into service in the sense of when it was bought originally. That's the mileage that it starts at, and that's the date that it's the warranty starts at. So if it's a late 22 model year, you could have still a good amount of warranty left. So you can actually, if you do a like a Carfax, it'll be on your Carfax as well.
Yes,
it'll show you when that warranty start date was and what mileage it starts at, because it's like when your vehicle comes in, let's say some of you are questioned, hey, well, mine was driven, because I know my Bronco was actually one that was tested. I think my Bronco had like 20 miles on it when it came into the dealership. My warranty starts what it was when I do the paperwork. So what, that salesperson is going to go out and check the mileage on the vehicle, and that is when your warranty starts, is at that mileage. So if it gets tested, you don't have to worry. Your warranty is going to start at the mileage it was when when you do the paperwork.
Yeah. In theory, I could order Lightning today, lock in the 75 plus your dealer's offered 4K off? ?
No. So that rebate is on a 23 model year. So the current rebates that are going on are not 23 and 24 have different rebates on them. You can't order a 23 now. You can order a 24. 24 does not have rebates. 23 model year has rebates. So you can't technically, like I said, so you wouldn't, if that makes sense. So you'd still get our offer. But right now there aren't any rebates on 24. So look for 23. In fact, we actually had one become available, a 23 come available today. It's not, will be on our website tomorrow. That's a Lightning Lariat that we will have. It'll show, we'll actually, the price that'll be on there will be including the rebates. So we'll have it probably marked down close to 10, I don't know, maybe 10K off.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see tomorrow, but so we're still doing a pretty good deal on the 23s as well. So, so if you want a 23, we're going to have one available. Check it out tomorrow. Avalanche in color. Going to get pictured tomorrow.
Oh, I haven't seen an Avalanche.
Oh, yeah. It was the one that was on the bricks out here.
Oh,
that one. Yeah.
That is super pretty. I was actually saw that and I was like, my gosh, I love that because it has the body colored badging where it's usually like chrome or whatever. It's body colored and I absolutely love that. It's gorgeous.
Kind of partial Avalanche at this point. Hi, Trevor.
Yeah. All right. My Maverick has been in production since the beginning of last week. When is the window sticker available online? So
should be available.
It should be available, but we have been seeing people having problems pulling that up
with that link and stuff. Yeah.
So if you can't see it, complain to Ford. That's really all we can do.
Go to your dealer. They should be able to pull it. I mean, if they go into Locator, they can actually do a window sticker, put the VIN number in, and they should be able to pull it for you. So,
all right. Any clue in the track my order link to the priority?
No. Once you're scheduled, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
That priority is only really affected on unscheduled orders. So once you're scheduled, priority goes out the window. You don't even need to worry about it anymore.
Yeah.
So,
let's see. Mavericks got scheduled, or how many Mavericks got scheduled last week?
Oh, for us, I don't think any last week because the first week we got all of our allocations got scheduled.
That's right. Or a larger dealership with a bigger basket to choose from.
Yes, most dealers. Like on most models, they won't schedule in multiple weeks. F-150 Super Duties, we see multiple week scheduling. Most models like Escape, Expedition, everything, they'll schedule the bulk of theirs the first week, as long as a dealership has an order that fits the configuration for their allocations. For us, since we have so many multiple types of orders, XL, XLTs, EcoBoost, hybrids, all of ours always get used and get scheduled the first week. So
Psalm 19 or 9:17 says, "Pray for the peace of Jerusalem."
Yes.
Yep.
Don't always talk about that, and don't always talk about things happening in the world out there. But yeah, I highlighted that because I want to make sure we keep them in our prayers.
Mm-hmm. What's your opinion on the Lincoln MKT?
Great vehicle. We owned one.
Yes,
we had one. Yeah,
it was a nice vehicle.
Mm-hmm. That was a vehicle we had right before we went to Expedition.
Right, and you guys had.
We actually pulled the boat with it.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. You used to pull the boat with it. I remember.
We had a 21-foot crown line.
Yeah.
We had a crown line boat, and it pulled it like a gym. Had a tow package on it, and we pulled it.
Lowered it into the water perfectly.
Yeah.
Worked great.
All-wheel drive, Lincoln MKT. Great vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why is keeping Super Duty orders open when they can't even build any due to the strike and they're backed up?
Well, keep in mind, there's 25,000 unscheduled Super Duty orders, and they can produce more than 25,000 in a model year. That's why they're still open. So they
seem backed up right now, but that's only because the strike is going on. Once the strike...
Well, and a lot of the orders left right now are the higher trim levels that aren't getting scheduled. And so... right now, should they keep taking, platinums and limiteds and such, maybe not. But if they see, okay, our capacity is 4 or 5% of all those, and let's say, I don't know how many they can produce in a month, but let's say, they're looking at the full model year, right? So if they say, okay, 5% is their capacity for a platinum for the entire year, well, let's say they can build 10,000 a month, and that's 120,000 a year. So what's 5% of 120,000? that's how many they can produce for a year. So as long as they are under that, they can keep taking orders for those.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So we might see that they're right now they're over capacity, but they still might be within capacity for the year.
Mm-hmm.
Just same way on the XL Maverick is the same situation where 47% of the unscheduled orders in the order bank are XL. That's 17,000. Let's say it's 50. We'll just round it to 50%. So that's 17,000. Well, they can build 23% as their production for a year. So that means that 23,000 XLs will get built this model year. They're still under that 17. That 17,000 is below that. So that's what I'm saying. If you have an XL order, you don't plan on it maybe taking most of them the year possibly to get all those scheduled and built, but it will happen. That's why there was a myth going out that they're closed off ordering an XL. Well, that's not true. They might be finding a way to incentivize customers to go from XL to XLT. Just put that out there if you see that in the future.
All right. Is there a way to remove CNN from the news options on the screen in my XLT Maverick truck? Fox News is fine, but I hate CNN.
Is that in the Android Auto? Apple
Yes,
CarPlay?
that would be.
Yeah, if you go into your settings, okay, if it's an app, because I think in Android Auto and everything, those are apps. So if one of your news app is CNN and Fox and all that in there, you click on there. I can't remember how to do it exactly. I can do it if I had this in front of me, but you go into your settings and categories, and then it pulls it up on your phone, and you uncheck which ones you don't want. And then once you save it and you unplug and plug it back in, then it should refresh, and then that should not be there.
Yeah.
So you go into your settings on that for your Android Auto, Apple CarPlay.
When did Android Auto get introduced to cars?
I don't know.
Because did you know that the 2019 Fusion has it?
Yeah. Because I use it all the time driving back Fort Kansas City.
I didn't know. Okay, so because we went to
because that's what I used. That's what I used for my navigation.
So my phone still has Android Auto from when I was set up with my Maverick. So we plugged in on our way to Oklahoma City, and we were using the navigation on the screen because it has the built-in nav. But then I plugged in, and it popped up my Android Auto. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Android Auto.
You just have to plug it in, though, instead, because it's Sync 3.
It's so much better.
I like it. I like it better.
I prefer it over the other nav.
I like it better.
It's more updated because I find my 17 C-Max doesn't have as much of a updated nav. I have hit dead ends.
Yeah. So your 17 C-Max doesn't have it?
No.
So somewhere in between there, maybe.
Yeah.
Some vehicles, though, they did it like the first, like certain models did it, and then they carried it over to the others. That's usually what happened is I kind of tested it on one model and go, okay, it's working. So then they can't carry it over like Sync 4 now going to almost all the vehicles.
See, and I was thinking maybe it was, the 19 or Fusion got an update and now it's equipped with Android Auto. But
I can't wait to see Maverick and Bronco Sport get Sync 4 finally because they need it.
Yes.
What's funny is 24 Explorer doesn't have Sync 4, still Sync 3. And that the 8-inch screen on the Explorer just looks so tiny.
Maverick is
the Maverick, it looks different, but it's so tiny on the Explorer. It's funny.
Maverick is the way to go. Anyways, Tim got my Maverick. What does that say?
March 2022?
Going in tomorrow.
March of 22, I think. Going in tomorrow, 10,000 service, lots of mileage on my end. Yep. So she got hers in, I think it was supposed to be March of 22. Yeah. I remember that. So, yep. Going good.
Nothing to do with my order, but what if someone's big bin gets rolled over, but they can't have the 2.7? Will they have to move up a level? Maybe some kind of offer? Just asking.
Yeah, Ford will just say here it is. We had what was it? Somebody that had a 23 model year Outer Banks. Of course, Outer Banks didn't have it either, but they wanted a manual transmission. And I was like, you can't get a manual in an Outer Banks, and you can't get two-door Outer Banks for 24. So if they didn't get, because we had one order other than Heritage Editions that we had other Broncos, but one Heritage Edition that did not get scheduled for 23 model year. And I don't think we're going to get it scheduled at this point. And so we have to reorder to 24. And and so they wanted a manual, and I'm like, well, what manual wasn't available on Outer Banks in 23 either, but
Right.
yeah, you're kind of stuck with whatever you can get at this point on that. So
All right. So I have 4 questions left. I have a question or 3 questions and 1 comment. I have William Perez, Harley Quinn, and Speed Patrick. If I have missed your, what are you doing?
I'll move this down a little bit.
Oh, if I have missed your question, please drop it now so that way we have it when we're done with these 3.
Yeah.
Anyways, did you know that if you have the Waze app, you can make it talk in different languages and different ways? Apparently, Timothy Bruggerman puts his in Portuguese.
Did not know that. I wouldn't be able to understand it anyway.
Harley Quinn says, I got
barely can
Waze app
understand
talking
English.
is like a 90s aerobics instructor. Aerobics.
Oh,
A 90s aerobics instructor.
yeah.
I don't use Waze because it got me lost going to the pumpkin patch. Dealer canceled my 23 MAV order, asked if they could contact their regional rep to fix issue to not lose private offer on 24, but they basically said they weren't going to bother with it. Any options?
Yeah, we have. I think we have 1 or 2 that was like that same thing, where because they said they weren't going to do private offers, so we're like, okay, well, let's. They're like, no, I don't want it. And then when they heard they're going to private offer,
they decided to go with it.
Like, you know what? Yeah, let me go ahead and continue. And so we put it in, but then I don't think they're going to get the private offer. If they did say that in small cases, if there's a few that they might be able to dig and get them that private offer. If they see that, because like on that one, you could still see the COVP order out there. So if you can still see the COVP, you should be able to be able to do that. So they did say that in small situations they can. So they might need to reach out to the brand manager or the sales and inventory specialist. But again, they have to initiate it. The dealer has to. If the dealership's unwilling to, there's not much you can do about it, because it's at the dealer level. They have to fight for you. It's really up to them. I don't know why they wouldn't, because it doesn't affect them any. The private offer isn't money they lose out of the car deal or anything. Yeah, it's just whether or not how bad they want to help their customer.
Yep. Do you think with the amount of Mavericks ordered, without adding any new orders and no part limitations, that all should be built by May?
Probably. They're building about 10,000 a month. And now they're scheduling for, currently right now this month, they're scheduling for December build dates. So they haven't even started into January. 35,000, 10,000 a month, that's 3.5 months. So if they had no new orders, they'd be January, February, March, halfway through April, they'd have everything in there built.
Right.
So yeah, I believe that that would happen. So,
all right.
As long as they can keep producing them 10,000 a month, as they have been.
Orders scheduled for December. Dealer says all is good with rollover / private offer from 23 to 24, but no proof. They are hard to get on the phone. Any advice?
Oh, I can't help you. When working with other dealers, it's I could tell you what is possible, what's supposed to happen, and how they can do it, but the dealer has to be able to be willing to do it. So
I can tell you.
Now I can look up private offers. Yeah. So like I said, in small situations, if you're struggling with that dealer, if you email us, if you email Sarah or myself, Sarah Davis at Law McArthur, we can look up anybody's private offer. You don't have to have your order with us. We can look up any customer's private offer and whether or not it's showing in there. We can at least let you know that. But we would need of course, you'd be emailing us. We'd need an email address, phone number that was submitted to that order, and even your name and address. And we can look up and see if your private offer is showing. And if it is, give you that private offer number. So then you so that you can take that in and then you say, nope, here's certificate number right here. And it shows 2,500 or whatever it might be. We can do that. And like I said, please don't bombard us with it. Please try your dealer first. Again, we have our own customers. We're trying to get those private offers. I mean, we had 325 carryover orders that we have to look up private offers as well. So out of respect for those customers that are with us, try to work with your local dealers first. But if you can't get anywhere there and you've tried several times and they're not responding, and if your vehicle's not on the way, you still have plenty of time to get that information.
Yeah.
But if it's built and it's like heading your way, we can help you.
Yeah.
It won't take too long, but just
Yeah.
has to just be respectful of our time
Yeah.
as well, as we try to help not only our customers, but we do try to help other customers
Yeah.
as well out there. And I'm willing to do that, but please try your dealership first.
Yeah.
If possible.
An example of we tell you what a dealer should do or what can happen, the abilities of a dealer. You can make some changes after your order is scheduled to a certain point. Once it's to the day, it's a little bit harder. Once it's sent to the plant, you can't change anything. And there's limitations, like if it's going to affect the VIN, body code, engine, those types of things. If it's going to affect the VIN, you can't change it. We've been talking about that. I've made changes after it's been scheduled, and we've been perfectly great. But then today I had someone email me and go, "Hey, one of your salesmen told me I can't make changes. I really want this added. Can you please add it, or tell me if what he's saying is true? Is it too late?" And I looked at, and he's scheduled to the day. I was like,
too late. Yeah, it's probably too late.
Nope. I was actually able to make the change.
Usually once you're scheduled to the day, you can't make changes.
Well, but he's far enough out. He's like 3 weeks away.
Oh, okay. Well, he's probably far enough out.
Yeah.
But barely. We'd have to get it done like now.
Yes.
So
I made that change from today, and then I was like, "Hey," I texted the salesman. I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" He was told he can't make changes. He's like, "Yeah, I was told once it's scheduled, you can't make changes at all."
Yeah.
So I explained. I was like, "Well, you can make changes." He's like, "Really?" I was like, "To an extent." So I went over that with him, and he learned something, and we helped our customer out. But sometimes some salesmen aren't informed of some of the things, or the dealership doesn't want to make those changes, because if they open that up, they may have customers left and right asking to make changes once it's scheduled. And that can be hindersome when you have 30 plus customers and such. So
we had that happen when we had a bunch of orders that got scheduled a couple weeks ago, and then all of a sudden customers are like, "Well, I wanted this, and this. I didn't want this trim. I wanted that trim." I'm like, whoa, that should have all gotten taken care of when you ordered, especially trim levels, like a few options here and there, like adding this option or that option is easy, or a color. But when it comes to a whole different trim level, whole different motor than what you originally, that's something you should have decided, when we submitted your 24 order, you signed the COVP that this is how you want it ordered. You need to try to stick to most of that. But small things like an option, I decided I wanted, this option or that option, or I wanted this color instead. Those are easy things. But, we had somebody that's like, well, no, I wanted this. And when they signed the paperwork, they signed the new one with the way it was. Because when I put in, you got to remember when we thought order banks were going to close within days.
Yes.
And I put in 325 orders between me and one other manager. We put in all of the orders.
Yeah.
I put in it what it was last year for this year, and told the sales guys, you need to confirm this, and I'll make any changes, but at least now we got them in there, so they'll get taken care of and we won't miss them.
This customer did say, "Hey, I've dropped the ball. Here's all of my emails that I've sent out, and I did say, this is what I want, make these changes, but I'm hesitant on the color, so let me confirm with you in a week's time." And he never confirmed those changes. So the salesman didn't know that he did, in fact, want to make those changes. There should have been some follow-up, but he did admit that he dropped the ball just a little bit. But luckily, we were able to make that change in time. So but that is one example of how some dealers, what can happen, or what we say,
we're human.
Yeah, we're all human.
So we
and some dealers aren't as educated or as in the know. I mean,
and I'm sitting here as one person saying, I know how to do these things, and it doesn't always trickle down to all of our sales guys.
Right.
either. I mean,
like the changes, it didn't trickle down to all of our salesmen.
No, they don't. Yeah, and not all of them have time to watch our 2-hour live stream every week, right? And so that we try to, I try to, in every one of our Saturday meetings as a staff, all the managers give an update. Here's something positive to tell the department, and I share usually something, and mine usually is reference to orders, and it's more or less order and reminding them of what order banks are open. That kind of stuff. But usually I don't go into constraints and all this kind of stuff in those meetings because it's short, sweet, it's, positive. And so usually I just talk about what order banks are open and such. And hey, we got a bunch of orders coming in. Don't forget to make sure you get those, and that kind of stuff. But we don't always go into that kind of stuff. So it even happens within the dealership. So again, it's not 100%. And there's a lot of staff at a dealership. There's salespeople. And don't forget, there's always managers above those salespeople. So if you're struggling to get an answer or that you think that that's not right, ask to talk to that manager. Say, can I talk to your manager? Because I don't think that's quite right. And I just want to make sure, and I mean, yeah. So there you go. Tim, you did not miss any recalls. There weren't any recalls or recall updates this week. So that's why we didn't cover them. So
there is at this point, no foreseeable impact on Maverick production.
No.
Can you see how many 24 Maverick XLT Maverick or trimmer?
Can you see how many 20?
We can, yeah.
Let me look.
All right, that was our last question. So if I missed your question or you have one, drop it down now with an @SarahDavis.
Well, according to this, of the 35,640 unscheduled Maverick orders, 1% of them are trimmer. Only 1%. So we're talking maybe 3,500 trimmers. That's about it. Not that many. So yes. So like I said, if you want to get scheduled quickly, go trimmer. And that's not XLT. That's all trimmers. So we're talking Lariat and XLT.
Yeah.
So it doesn't break down the different trim levels there. So definitely, if you want to get scheduled quickly, trimmer. Because the brand manager told us, they said, here's the deal: 10% of the vehicles built are going to be trimmers.
Yes.
So that when it comes down that line, every so many Mavericks will be a trimmer come through. So they'll make a trimmer every so many. And like I said, the 10% rule. So like maybe one, if 10 go down the line, one of them will be a trimmer in that 10. All right, 10%. And they'll keep making them. So if they get to the point where when they're done making 3,500 of the trimmers and there's a 0, that's when you're going to start seeing stocks being scheduled.
Yes.
Right. Because they're going to make a trimmer.
Yep.
And they're going to be looking for stocks. So there you go.
Yep. We don't have any more questions.
All right. And if you're out there and maybe you're waiting to get scheduled and you're wanting to get a Maverick, we do have a lot of 23s coming in, and we have some customers. Like right now, we have 6 available. I don't know if they're all on our website yet, but we had several of our customers that didn't take theirs. So if you're looking for that, we are a little above MSRP. But at this point, think about it this way: if you don't have a 23 order in and you're wanting to place a 24 order, and maybe you place a 24 order, you're already paying. I mean, look at about the hybrid one up in price $1,500, and we're $2,500 over MSRP.
Yeah.
So that's like, in a sense, the way I look at it is it's like paying $1,000 over MSRP.
Yeah.
Not a bad deal, especially on a hybrid, which you probably save that in gas in a month. Oh, maybe longer than a month. But anyway, pretty quickly. But that's something to think about. I might actually look at that and see what's the price of a 24 hybrid XLT right now versus a 23 that we have priced.
There's your topic for next week.
Not really. That wouldn't take long. Anyway, all right. Any other questions? No?
No. They're all saying good night.
Okay.
Well, not all.
Not all? All right.
All right.
It is 9:00.
It is.
9:00 here. So, So if there's no other questions.
Yeah. So, in all, Vegas has been moved from this weekend to next week.
Yep.
We'll be there the 1st through the 3rd, and we don't know how much time we're going to have with everything else going on. It's going to be a quick.
Next week's live stream will not probably be a live stream. So
Yes.
what we're planning is, because Wednesday we are going to be traveling Wednesday, and because we'll probably be trying to get because there it's 2 hours later than here. So when we go live 7 p.m. here, it's 5 p.m. in Vegas, and we're going to actually be at SEMA getting content at 5 o'clock probably, and there. And so because of that, we don't want to feel like going live on Wednesday night. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a pre-recorded video, all the content we normally cover here, scheduling information, all that kind of stuff. We're going to pre-record a video for Tuesday night. That I know that's on Halloween, but since it's pre-recorded, it won't be live and there won't be Q&A.
Yeah.
But if you have questions between now and then, email them to sarahdavis@lawmacarthur.com. And we will throw in and do some little impromptu Q&A from our emails.
Yes.
So if you do have some questions between now and then, drop those and we will answer those on the live stream, but we will not, because we won't watch it live with you. So it won't be a premiere video where we can go. It's just going to be a pre-recorded, no questions. Of course, we'll always answer any questions. So when you watch the video, if you have some questions, drop them down there and we will answer those when we get a chance.
And, I'll try and think like a regular consumer and not a dealership employee, and maybe come up with some good questions that some other people might have thought of while we were going through a topic. So,
and I don't know when, what kind of topic we're going to have yet. I usually don't decide that until like Monday night, to be honest. There's a lot of weeks I'm like, what am I going to talk about tonight? And I don't even know the day of. So there you go. So there you go. All right. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you guys very much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it. And hope you guys have a good week. And yeah. Other than that, look for some videos this week on the Escape complete guide videos. We're going to have those go live this week. Not sure about our Bronco off-rodeo video, if that'll be at the end of this week or it'll be next week. Probably save that for the beginning of next week, to be honest. And then at the end of next week, we'll try to get some content from SEMA as well. We'll look at our favorite builds at SEMA for Bronco, especially, and even some crazy truck builds.
We're going to have an extra person. Maybe we can get some videos with you and me and them together, and not just me videoing you.
Yeah. All right. Anyway. All right. Well, thank you guys very much. Appreciate it. Don't forget, until next week, stay positive, be kind to one another,
and be kind to yourselves.
And we'll see you in the next video.